Good day, lots and ladies. Welcome back to what? Oh wait, wrong buttons. Welcome back to the Exiled Diary. We are about to, well, we are still in the prisons, and we are going to hunt down Brutus, the how we call it, the warden of this prison, who, in his quest for immortality, became something not human. I don't see any, trouble arising from facing Brutus. I mean, I am pretty tanky, but, yeah, you saw that. Like, come on, hit rare. Please let me block something. Come on. No? No? Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to see. That's how Reckoning works. It only triggers when you block, but then it deals a quite, actually pretty big cone-shaped shield bash in the direction of the blocked attack. Which, if you're in melee range, is pretty darn effective if you have a lot of, luck chance. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to use. Once we get into some higher level, I will probably be able to get more skill gems like this, and then you will see my total build come into place. Like, my kind of Thorns build, actually, like,
in the court of the
every time I get damage, there's a chance that I deal quite a lot of damage in return. Also, these are the ascendancy, how you call it, ascendancy trials, which, if you ascend, actually, that's if you complete the labyrinth on the difficulty you're now on. This is just normal difficulty. Once we get New Game Plus, that would be cruel difficulty and so forth. There are in total 4 difficulty levels, I think, because you can get every difficulty gives you 2 ascendancy points if you actually complete the labyrinth, and thus and you can get 8 ascendancy points in total. So I think there's 4. No, I know there's 4 in doing the math like that. And my ascendancy will be kind of a big part of my build, actually. Well, it should be for any build, actually, because some ascendancy perks are extremely powerful. But once we have actual ascendancy points, we will actually, explain some more about it. Or explain the, how you call it, ascendancies of the Marauder itself. And this is
the strongest metal of them all.
plague you need to activate to say that you completed the trial for the area you're in. Now, then you just go back with the portal to the entrance. Pretty easy, that one is pretty easy, but that's just an introduction. Some of those traps in the labyrinth itself can get pretty hectic. Like, those spikes, if you actually get hit by them, if you stand on them like for 5-6 seconds, then you die, just like instantly. And the big, I call it difficulty of the labyrinth is that once you die, you need to do it all over again. So, yeah, you need to complete it in one go. Luckily, sometimes there are, how you call it, points where you can actually, uh, yeah, why not? Where you can actually interact with your stash, so that you can make sure you have enough room for rare items that would normally drop on the next tier of the labyrinth. So yeah, it's not like you miss out on much. You are bound to miss out on quite a lot of stuff if you cannot take everything with you, but you can take most rare things with you. That's all I care about anyway. Sometimes I do care about magical because I need the currency for it, but from it. But anyway, let's head up to the upper prison, which is the last. No, wait, second to last area before Brutus. Although the actual last area before Brutus doesn't, you know, contain any enemies, but it's still an area. So I don't want to discriminate. Alright, Sawbones. You're dead. No? Wait, no, god dang. The fireballs didn't do their job well, I guess. Yeah, this AoE attack of mine, the Molten Strike, isn't the most reliable for wave clearing. I will be getting another skill once I, you know, can actually get my hands on it for actual wave clearing, but for now, this has to do. Also, our Reckoning skill, the damage dealt while blocking, gives a little bit of AoE. So yeah, that's nice, I guess. These are just, you know, enemies from the prison, mostly people who died and then came back by the necromancers. That's why the necromancers are highly sought after targets in this area, because they can just resurrect any enemy you kill. That's pretty annoying. Especially when you deal with mage skeletons, because the mage skeletons can put, you know, their elemental debuffs on you, which once you know, fire just deals damage over time, which can be quite devastating, but normally isn't. Frost can, you know, chill you or even freeze you, so that's quite a, how you call it, quite the trouble. If you're frozen while surrounded with enemies, that's not helpful. You might die in those cases. And the one you kind of really need to look out for is the electrical status effect, Shocked. Because if you're shocked, you get a lot of bonus damage. Like it amplifies the damage you get, which in and of itself isn't that bad. But then if you combine it with lots of enemies, with other elementals, or just heavy hitting physical enemies, then you're in trouble. Then you just want to, you know, walk out of the enemy group, wait for the status effect to turn off, and then go back. That's the preferred, you know, action in that case anyway. I'm not saying that it will always happen, but that's what you want to do. Like, these are frost mages, which can be annoying, but I don't know how much status chance they have, but they do not proc frost for me all too often, which is pretty helpful, because I do not like to be frozen. Well, I, you know, do like the movie kind of Frozen. Yeah, I'm not a Frozen fangirl or fanboy or anything, but you know, it still is a freaking Disney movie, and everything they put out is of high quality. So, yeah, sure, I like it. Better than any. Well, maybe DreamWorks can compete with Disney and Disney Pixar, but any other, how you call it, animation studio certainly cannot. Like, I think Sony has an animation studios for movies, but it isn't, you know, like, I think the movie, it's Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, was made by the Sony, um, how you call it, animation studios, but the animation quality, although it was fine, it wasn't, you know, anything spectacular. The writing of the movies are fine though, that's of no concern, but the animation is always a pretty big deal if you actually, you know, want to make an animation movie, because that's what basically is, you know, the whole focus of the movie. Else you could, you know, just do a freaking live action movie and be done with it, you know. I actually think that, how I call it, that animation movies, which you know, just the high-end animation movies, actually are harder to make than most you know, live action movies, because every frame needs to be made separately, and how you call it, everyone who does any, you know, voice acting needs to be able to actually voice act. And I think the art of voice acting gets how you call it, gets, you know, not, they do not, you know, recognize it that much, because it is quite difficult to, if you're not directly in the situation, like you have to talk for somebody that undergoes the situation, it is pretty difficult to actually emote the right emotion for that, you know, particular moment. So that's why I think animation movies are more difficult. They require more work in terms of arts, and they like drawing and stuff, and they require a certain mindset for the actual voice acting, which not everybody has. I would certainly like to try it sometime, maybe, if I ever get the chance to do it, but, you know, maybe I don't, so that's fine by me also. I probably wouldn't get any, you know, chance to voice act ever, because I'm not in that, you know, how you call it, business. But anyway, let's get to the warden's quarters. Like I said, this is the second to last area, and although there aren't enemies...
An exile here. A shame the warden won't leave anything for me to examine. Make sure you tell our host that Piety of Theopolis sends her regards.
There is somebody here who is quite, you know, the bitch, mostly. And she isn't all that nice. She isn't. But let's read this journal.
Still the Karui barbarians advance from the south. Lioneye is dead, his legion slaughtered. Should the need arise, we shall retreat through Prisoner's Gate, raising my barricade behind us. But our Lord Brutus nears readiness. Foul times demand heroism. The Warden will serve as our savior. May he crush the Karui into the sand with the mighty fists I shall gift to...
And then she probably died. Anyway, so... Alright, she's talking about Lioneye is dead. So... And she's talking about the Karui savages. Is she also from Theophilus like Piety is? I do not know, but this does imply that the Lioni and in extension Lioni's watch is, you know, not how you call it, made by the Karun. So I do not know if I told differently with the Lioni standards, like the flag, because that's yesterday and I do not know exactly what I said, but that would kind of, you know, be indeed the how you call it, in the continuity of this timeline. It is pretty logical. Like at the time the Karui invaded this place, they then destroyed everything on their path, and as retaliation, this whatever empire, the Eternal Empire, this character, this how you call it, the Chaperone, she is probably from the Eternal Empire, because she is fighting against the Karui, and the Karui invaded something called the Eternal Empire, because Lioni was part of the Eternal Empire. Alright, now we have some information on the actual the timeline and stuff. And maybe Piety is just looking for certain research so she can use that for her own means. Which I think is the case, because the how you call it, civilization that Piety is part of is trying to get to the information that the how you call it, that the Asians, that the Asian civilization already had. So I think, you know, that this civilization right now isn't the same as the civilization that retaliated with, you know, with there is no honor without sacrifice, by descending the nightmare upon the Karun. Well, that's what I actually, you know, how you call it, interpret from the carvings left and right, talking about the fate of the Karun. But anyway, let's shut up for a moment. Well, not shut up, but let's prepare ourselves for Brutus, the Warden.
Come and share it with me.
Bam, bam, bam. Keep Molten Shell up. He is now spawning enemies, but we don't give two shits, just keep on hammering. Yeah.
Your spirit is the plaything of the ancestors, slave master.
I'm way too tanky for the shit. Alright. Ooh. No. This is actually better. But there isn't a strength, you know, thingy on it. Damn it. Is this better? This is kind of better, more evasion rating in any case. And the extra intelligence I don't really need. And the increased stun and block recovery. Ooh, that's a pretty big boon, but it's just 7%, so 12 extra dexterity I guess is better, especially when we can then do this. Yeah, this is probably better. Alright, now let's see, just taking some extra items with me. Tricone. Wait, let's dump the... Oh god. Sorry, burpee. I don't know why, but I get burpee from, how you call it? From commenting. Corrode blade, no. The carving knife, no. We need a copper sword or something like that. Ooh. Well, this gives more energy shield, so let's keep that one. Alright. We're fine. Now. This mask is pretty awesome though. It's just the Plague Doctor's mask. And I noticed the ponytail of the Marauder actually moves. Huh, nice. Nice touch, nice touch. Alright. We now opened the way for us to go through the prison and actually enter the mainland to, you know, save the refugees that, or the exiled that were struggling in Lina's watch. What the hell is happening here? Alright. Oh wait, this is the prophecy. Alright. Anyway, let's just follow Emperor's Road for now. Until we absolutely need to, we won't return to, I call it, Lina's watch. Because, as you know, I do these episodes now in, I call it, in bursts. Like, because my recording setup just kind of flips out in the transition to the hub area, and
I cannot carry this.
Just the how you call it, the gameplay area like this. I don't know why, but it does. So yeah, that's why I do it now in bursts. But you already pretty much knew that because whoa. Oh wait, there was a rare enemy. Never mind, I didn't see him. But if you watch my other videos of these, they are pretty, you know, pretty, how you call it, short in terms of my regular content, which, you know, might be a good thing actually. I might attract some more attention to my channel if I do not, you know, upload hour-long episodes, because it is kind of, you know, difficult for some people to actually, you know, sit down for an entire hour with a just barely, you know, acceptable YouTube channel. I'm downplaying myself, of course, but, well, no, I'm not. I'm pretty much shit right now, but, you know, it might become better in the future. Yeah, exactly what the Marauders, one of the Ascendancy classes, is called the Juggernaut, which I will be getting. I want to be the Juggernaut and just, you know, not give a shit about damage. But the quote from the Juggernaut page is, "What differentiates the conqueror from the conquered? Perseverance. Perseverance is the key word right there. Like, if you actually, you know, persist, then eventually you're going to make whatever you want to do an actual reality." Alright. 4 to 15 and 6 to 12. But this has accuracy rating, which I need more, so no, sorry. And the scepter, can I? Yeah, I can get this one. Alright. Now, before we accidentally die from the crushing skull, cricking prophecy, which is pretty weird, actually, let's just move forward. And get to the end of Emperor's Road for now. Which we, you know, used to get into the mainland and back to the area we were exiled from. To pay Dominus, our, you know, kind emperor who Exile does. A little visit. Alright, let's... Can I level up while fighting? No, I cannot. I was looking at that. I still heard some, you know, electricity going around. So, nope, you cannot level while fighting. Of course not. This isn't, you know, a single player game. This game is always online. So, because of that, you cannot actually pause it. That is the only bad thing about this game, I guess. You cannot do it offline. You have to be online. I mean, I don't mind, but some people, I don't mind at all. Alright. Okay, and with that, let's just speed it up with the Quicksilver potion. Alright. Come on. Freaking Molten Strike just hop, you know, correctly.
Find your own way in land,
And
Exile.
hello, Piety. Oh shit! Find another way to go into the forest. Alright, alright. I don't give a shit. Heavy strike, bitches. Ooh, Jade Hatchet, which is stronger than this one if it deals any elemental damage. Alright, alright, alright. This, yeah, it's even faster than my actual sword, so sorry, I need this one for now. Let's get another copper sword up in this, and let's get the chain blocks in here, and the wait fast is 6 big. Alright, let's keep that this and find another way into the forest. Why is there an incaping in this area? Why can't I walk in here? I don't know. Let's explore. I do know, I'm shitting you, but... Ooh, a rare head piece, which gives armor and energy shield. I like it. Well, I do not know if I like it, I need to uncover it first, but... Yeah, sure. A little bit less energy shield, but a lot more armor. And, you know, it kind of fits with my chainmail chest, which is also nice. Hashtag fashion, I guess. Alright. Now, let's just explore this shit. What's been going on today for me? Just a little, you know, how you call it, just a pretty normal day for me, actually. How's your day been? Whoever this video is being watched by. I do kind of like to, you know, hear what you guys or gals, lords and ladies, are doing today, or whenever you actually watch this video. What I did this day was just waking up, of course, etc. And I actually went shopping for a new pillow with my mother. She also needed a new pillow. But I always slept on a hard, small pillow. I always guessed that I wanted to actually, you know, sleep on those kind of pillows. But this vacation, this summer break, I actually slept at a friend's house, and he had very soft pillows. And then I discovered I do like soft pillows. So I was like, alright, I need to get some. About getting some, let's head to the ship graveyard and get some new dialogue from a NPC, which isn't his how you call it, dialogue isn't really, you know, important for the entire encompassing story or anything, but
Hinekora, Mother of the Dead, is this your land I walk upon?
might be, but it's just a pretty fun little side area. Well, not side area, you need to go to this area, but anyway, that NPC does provide an optional quest, which is nice. Let's skip the weathered carving for now and let's head straight to Fairgraves, the legendary pirate.
Frankly, I would have been surprised if you hadn't recognized me. Yes, 'tis I, Captain Sigmund Fairgraves, wave tamer, pirate bane, and conveyor of civilization to barbaric lands. So, what am I doing
Never
here?
mind, he isn't a pirate.
Apart from blowing my own bugle? I'm marooned, languishing, thanks to a pair of pretty blue eyes. Stuck fast in the filthy mud of Rayclast, thanks to one sultry little slave girl. I liberated her from the flesh pits of Trathos, and she repaid me in full with sleight of hand and swift feet. Turned the coat of my first mate, took my hard-earned all-flame, and with it the wind out of me sails. Find my all-flame, I beg of you. Until I feel its warmth again, I'm trapped here, high and dry, until the sun's final setting.
Alright. That's a little bit, how you call it, weird, saying that you pretty much will be here forever if I don't give you your all-flame. What is it?
I hunted the vagaries of a near-forgotten myth to a shattered cathedral in the Inner Empire. I took the all-flame and encased it within a lantern of pure silver, the only element it seemed incapable of consuming. Oh, the all-flame does many a marvelous thing in the hands of one who knows how to harness its power. Oh, banish any thoughts of using it for yourself. It would burn you alive.
Then I will not use it. What about the pretty blue eyes, you say? Was it perhaps a
My
siren?
loveliest neighbor in this most salubrious of neighborhoods. Facing Mervale and finding my all-flame are two mutually exclusive endeavors. I'd much prefer you to live to see your errand fulfilled. Although it is possible that my wayward slave girl fell prey to one of Mervale's slithering progeny. If that be the case, you look resourceful enough to handle a tentacled wench or two. But if Mervale herself has my flame, be very wary. That necklace of hers provides the old siren with some subtle wiles indeed.
Alright, what's about her necklace
If the
then?
history books are to be believed, Doreso the Daring presented the necklace to Mervale on bended knee. And from the moment he placed that little chunk of Rayclast at her throat, Mervale began to sing. It's told her sweet voice grew to fill even the largest concert halls of Oriath, and brought warmth to even the coldest of hearts. But then she began to change. Her mind and body twisted, as did her songs. Well, the sweetness remained, while the sanity fled. Knowing what little I do about the powers that lie dormant here in Rayclast, I'd surmise that if you have Mervale's necklace, you have the siren's voice.
Well, if
May
she, you know...
fair winds favor you.
Alright. Well, if she used the necklace and then turned into some kind of tentacled monster, or whatever the siren looks like right now, then I would rather not use it.
Calm stands before us and looks out to the raging sea. He sings, calls. Calm stands before us and looks out to the raging
vowed
sea.
to Kitava.
He sings,
He betrayed
calls,
us.
screams to our ancestors to come to our aid. He offers them gifts of old, a feast of heart and mind, muscle and marrow, cooked in the fire and rock of this angry land. We have not practiced these ways in so many years. Only in the darkest of times, most desperate of times, do we perform these oldest of rituals. Only here and now may we sacrifice and consume our own. Only in our king can we trust this return to our ancient selves.
Alright, he's talking about cannibalism. Are the cannibals that live today in this area actually the ancestors of, or the offspring of the Karui that became
I cannot carry this.
with this, how you call it, practice? I don't know. Maybe. Alright. Let's find that all flame then, shall we? 4 to 10. No, that's not a good sword. Anyway, we have a pretty strong axe right now, so yeah. It's not as strong as my 200 mace was in my other account, but hey, it's still usable. Alright. What do I want to talk about today? I'm the things to talk about, really. Am I this incompetent in, commentating on YouTube? I don't know. Commentating on games for videos on YouTube, I must say. I don't know. What has been on the news lately? Well, on our news at least, it was the fact that, if you don't know, the Turkish, how you call it, the Turkish government had a quite a bit to deal with this, in these few months, because there has been a militia trying to overthrow it. But right now, that shit is over. But this situation is weird because there are so many people that need to be thrown in jail in Turkey that there isn't enough room for them, and thus any prisoner that had to serve 2 years more or showed signs of good behavior, they are pardoned, actually. So I don't know, that's kind of weird. I would just say, like, try to find some more people to actually try and put them on to, how we call it, into jail, because there are, holy shit, this one, there are more how you call it, actual countries that can help you. But if you want to go ahead and release criminals into the into your land, then alright, I guess. Be my guest. Ooh. Alright, let's see the DPS. 131 and 124. But this is faster and has life on hit. So this is actually better. Alright. Well, in my opinion anyway. I think a life on hit and attack speed are better than just raw damage and stun duration, so yeah. And life on kill. Also, I get a lot of accuracy rating with the sword, like 32 I guess. But anyway. But that situation that Turkey is in, you know, removing any, I call it prisoners from Turkey and trying to put them in jails in other countries, just costs, you know, money for the transport and money for, you know, actually getting another country to accept your prisoners, etc. So I do not know even if it would be possible in, you know, taking in consideration the economy of Turkey right now. So yeah, it might not just be feasible in any case. So then indeed the prisoners that showed, you know, progress, let them out, I guess. It's still not, you know, the most appropriate term of action, but yeah, it's better than nothing, I guess. It's better than, you know, executing everybody you wanted to imprison because they turn against your government. Because then you get more people who will turn on your government if you just execute and make an example of people trying to change or overthrow the government. You know, that works not that works totally against what you want to accomplish. Wait, I can carry that? Alright, then I will drop the Aula amulet because it's, you know, common quality instead of uncommon. But anyway, yeah, that's I mean, I still don't know why they even, you know, tried to do that. And there is a conspiracy theory, of course, that the how you call it, minister, prime minister of, you know, Turkey himself tried to actually, you know, do this, or tried to, well, stage the whole thing, I must say, like, to grow his, I guess, his people's trust in him, but I do not know how this would do that. But anyway, let's see why this slave girl. The slave girl has died. Alright. The elf flame. Distilled from naked ambition and unfettered obsession, the elf flame emanates a silvern warmth like no other, and engulfs those moths who fool enough to embrace it. So it engulfs everybody who embraces it. Who embraced it? That's right, Fairgraves. So this will be a classic case of... wait for it. God damn it. I ruined the moment, didn't I? Arg. This will be a classic case of...
My Allflame, my blessed damned Allflame. Oh, you want your moment in the firelight now, do you? Unfortunately, necessity is what it is, and for the Allflame to give life, it must first be kindled with life. And since suitable kindling is in short supply around these parts, I have little option but to make do with what I have. Namely,
a classic case of double crossing.
Please understand that as a gentleman of honor, it pains me greatly to do this. Hard times call for hard hearts. I'm sure, were the circumstances reversed, you'd do precisely the same.
Maybe not, actually. I do not want to kill people to become, you know, alive again or immortal. I would like to, like I said before.
The
But
Karui remember you, Fairgraves. Your death will be much celebrated.
if it meant that another person will suffer from it, then no, totally not. Alright. I didn't use minions, but it's still better than any of my current life flasks, so yeah, why not? And the Amber Amulets, because it gives strength, which is better for me in the moment. Yeah. How did these stats compare? 2 strength equals 1 life, 5 strength equals 1% melee physical damage. That's the whole case of, you know, the Marauder dealing the most damage of all classes in melee. Intelligence 1, 2 intelligence, 1 mana, 5 intelligence, 1 energy, 1% energy shield, and 1 dexterity is 2 accuracy. Right. So the perk that I wanted to use actually gets quite insane once you have high dexterity. Alright, I like it. I might want to get dexterity values on my gear then. That's eventually, I guess. For now, we need to go back to Lionel's Watch to claim lots and lots of treasure. So, yeah, this has been the, I guess, well, another episode of the Exiled Diary. I do not know yet, but we killed Brutus and we killed Fairgrace, sadly. Well, the Marauder and the Karui didn't find it sad, but I did, because, you know, his tale is kind of sad. He just, you know, came around these parts, crashed into the site because of some freaking mermaid, and then he tried to use his all flame, which he has probably all used in his entire life to keep his life, you know, going, and it totally backfired because I'm way too strong for him. Anyway, my name is Lord Longface. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you dislike this video, please also leave a dislike, and yeah, comment whatever you want, how your day went, what kind of criticism you have, and I will see you lots of ladies in the next one. Bye.